How's everybody doing? This is the start of the Untill Im Famous podcast. This will be the first and a half episodes of this podcast that I'm going to be starting, doing it by myself. And eventually, I may have people on. May or may not. It depends on how I feel. It all depends on the people. You know, it's kind of hard, like, asking people for, like, if they want to, like, be on your show. And like cause you meet so many fucking strange people that can be like very flaky, where they say they're gonna do it and they don't do it. I don't want to be disappointed. So to prevent that, what better way to bet on somebody than to bet on yourself? You know, I would try my hardest not to ever let me down, even though I have let myself down before. But we're not gonna get into personal things. But this podcast is basically gonna be about my train of thoughts, where I'm at and shit like that, what I'm thinking about, my opinions, if people want to listen to them. I'm going to keep doing it because, 2020 has just been, rough for everybody. I think so. Well, fuck it. It's been rough for me, so that means it's been rough for everybody. I don't care what everybody about anybody else's opinion. It's been rough for me, so 2020 has been rough. Like, I can't do stand-up comedy no more. Kobe Bryant, my favorite basketball player, that passed away. Died abruptly with 9 others. Rest in peace to the GOAT. And yeah, I said it, GOAT. I didn't see nobody better than him. Like, I can go on for days talking about how good Kobe is, and I haven't really lost one yet. I haven't lost, cause like it's just like Kobe was just one of them guys. Whenever you just have to experience it, and like when you experience it, you're like, yeah, there ain't nobody fucking with this nigga. Because Kobe, to me, was better than, Jordan. Even though Jordan got this documentary coming out, and it's fire. Even though I can't watch it because, I don't have, cable or ESPN Plus, so I can't really watch it. But I know it's good because it's Jordan. And Jordan's stories are fucking funny. Like, I don't care what anybody say. Jordan's stories are funny. Like, that story that he had with Chameleonaire, where he told that nigga, what he said? He said, "Man, I ain't signing no autographs for niggas." Chameleonaire's feelings was hurt. But Jordan is, of course the documentary's gonna be good. You get to find out how much of a dick Jordan was. But I think Jordan's supposed to be a dick, though. I don't think he's supposed to be a nice guy. I think Jordan is supposed to be a dick. And like, to add on to the fact, he's dark skinned, chocolate man. A very chocolate man at a time where being chocolate wasn't cool. So you can't be nice. Like, I don't think Wesley Snipes was nice back in the day. I think you had to be real cutthroat. And that's what makes Jordan Jordan. And like, I know that documentary is fire. I love hearing Jordan stories and shit like that. Like, I also love hearing Kobe stories because Kobe, is the GOAT to me. And like, the only way I really lose arguments when I'm talking about Kobe is because they hit me with, didn't he lose a fight to Chris Charles? I'm like, we're not gonna go talk about that. That was one time. One time, He beat a rape case. Whatever. You know what? We're not gonna dig that low no more. So yeah. I didn't think this COVID shit would be this serious. I really didn't. Like, I didn't think it would really shut down everything. Like, when I saw it coming up, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like the swine flu part 2, right? I don't really know that many people that died during the swine flu. I'm like, all right, the swine flu wasn't that bad. Even no matter how bad they said it was going to be, it never really was that bad. And, like, so now that this COVID shit is out, it's, like, going fucking crazy. Like, now I think Texas had put this mandatory law where you got to, like, fucking wear a face mask. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Like, I be going out, and I'm, like, the only nigga without a face mask, and it just kind of makes you look like a fucking buffoon. But like, I kind of like I don't know where you buy face masks at. Like, I think they selling at the grocery. I think they're selling at the grocery store. So, but I don't fucking want to wear a face mask. I didn't like wearing face masks when I was in fucking Japan. I just think I like wearing face masks now. And like, it's like, because too many doctors came out and said those face masks ain't gonna do shit because it's airborne. There's like no hope for it. Like, you're gonna get it if somebody has it in your vicinity. No matter if you got the face mask, gloves, you're still going to get it. And I'm like, you got a point here. I can't really argue that. Like, it's hard to really just debate when they saying things like that. So it's like, okay. But they put out this mandatory face mask law, and I'm like, I guess I just try to wear a bandana, and I got to be very particular with the colors because I don't want nobody to ask me what gang am I repping. I don't need that kind of energy in my life, But I mean, things is gonna be good with this podcast. I'm excited about it. I can't. I think this is really gonna be testing, though. It's gonna be me trying to push the boundaries of myself. To have to do this once a week, which I think is gonna be once a week. I'm shooting for once a week, and for me to sit there and put out an hour of content for once a week is gonna be tough, but it's gonna make me get better. And this first episode might not be that good, but in due time it's gonna be great, I think. Well, because I'm great, so that's why I think it's gonna be great in due time, and it's gonna be very rough. Like I'm a very rough guy. The things about the really shitty part about this COVID shit is that fucking I can't do comedy, and that's something like I didn't, I really do miss, because like I just miss, like I didn't know how much of a release it was, me not being able to do comedy, because like no matter what I was going through, if I was able to go out on stage and just talk about some fucking shit and just being able to fucking express myself in that way, I was relieved. Like if I was like, no matter how bad my day could have been going, I could have got fired. If I was able to go out on stage and just talk about it, I'll feel like 10 times better. And then that's just the mindset of like, okay. And then the art of getting better, that's the thing about it, is like when you're doing this comedy shit, like I love this shit so much. Like comedy is like what I really just do. I enjoy so much. And like I've been in love with comedy since I was like a little kid, and I remember back in the, like watching like little fucking tapes and shit, trying to see, like watching all these comedians. I just wanted to laugh. And it's crazy that because I laughed so much when I was younger. Nowadays it's like it's hard for me to find a good laugh. I wanna get a, like watching specials now. I think specials, like now I don't even watch specials like where I laugh like that. I just watch specials and be like, wow, that was amazing. I don't even like. It's weird because like I don't know if my funny bone is kind of tapped out, or I haven't even found it yet. But I think it's just like now it's like I don't know if it's not that funny. I just think my level of understanding is probably different, and I'm not watching it with like glossy eyes anymore. But now it's like, since I'm doing it, I watch techniques. I look at certain things, how they do certain things. Like I look at Bill Cosby's like mic control, like how good of a mic controller he was. Like what he didn't, he was able to project his voice without even bringing the microphone up to his mouth. He can like do it from at the hip, and you can hear him perfectly fine. And he know how to like just little shit like that. What I be watching now, but that's just how much like I really do love comedy, and I feel like I if I could dedicate my life to something, why not dedicate my life to that? A lot of people don't even know what the fuck they want to do tomorrow, but I know what I want to do. I'm gonna just dedicate my life to comedy. It's something. It's like boxing. If I can dedicate my life to boxing, why wouldn't I? Yeah. People don't know. People just don't understand. Comedy is fucking. It's very subjective, and when you tell people like, "Oh yeah, I do comedy," they like, "Oh, for real?" Like it's never of like, "Oh my god, wow." No, it's like, "Oh, for real? I wouldn't even think that." Well, thank you. And they need to hear that shit. You could have kept that one to your fucking self. I realized that I was behind the curve with this podcast and shit. So like I'm just kind of like doing this shit. Like it's kind of like me finally having to do it because I have no other option to get my voice out there. Because I kind of like put it on hold because I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it because everybody else is doing it. And like my only goal with podcasting is to not make a podcast that's cringeworthy. And nowadays podcasts are very cringeworthy. And I was like, well, not very, like, all right, so the podcasts of some up and coming podcasts can be cringeworthy. And I'm like, I don't need to hear that. But I feel like you have to go through that. So I might as well just get it out the way. And I gotta stay on top of this curve because I was really just behind. Not really just fucking, it's all in my head. I'm thinking like, all right, so if fucking who's gonna listen to me? And when you tell yourself that, you already lose. So I had to I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I might as well do it. I'm not doing shit else. Like, it's not like I'm going out working in my craft. I can't do that. I might as well go and fucking do it. And then if you can make yourself, if this is gonna help me to get better, like, why not? Like, why not? That's why I think, if I see like a young, and then if I see like a young up and coming artist, and they want to like make music, want to get into rap, I always try to like make sure, and like I always try to make sure like to like let them know, like, why don't you do something while you're doing this shit. Try to be an individual, but niggas don't listen to that shit. Niggas want to just do the same shit and just think it's cool. Like, it's not. Doing the same shit that everybody else is doing has never been cool. Like, not to me, but probably to everybody else. Everybody's like fucking. It feel like everybody's like robots, where they just do what everybody tells them to do, and it's shitty. Like, it makes you look at like what happened. Like now, when you look at music now, you got some good music out, but I don't think none of this shit's gonna last. Like, it's niggas is just so fucking. It's like everybody's doing the same shit. Everybody has the same fucking thing. Everybody's the same, and I sound so old when I'm talking about it, but I'm not. But it's the truth. All these niggas sound the same. Like, it's a couple motherfuckers that do shit differently. That's why whenever Kendrick Lamar drops, you look for it, because you want to see what he's doing. Or J. Cole, whenever you see J. Cole drop, you want to look what he's doing. I don't want to say Drake, because Drake is like I don't know, because he reminds me of Kanye. Not in fucking Kanye West's antics, because looking at Kanye West now is rough, but Kanye West, he was always just, because like at one point in time Kanye West was bigger than Jay, but was Kanye West better than Jay? It's like saying, is Drake better than fucking J. Cole or even Kendrick Lamar? Nah, you can't say that. But Drake has the stats. Kanye West has the stats. I think Kanye West got more Grammys than Jay-Z. But I don't know. I'm not fact checking anything. I just go off the top of my dome. It's just me. If I'm wrong, I'm right, because there's nobody to tell me anything. It's just myself. But fucking, that's why when you look for what J. Cole is doing, you look for what Kendrick is doing, because you want to know what is he doing different? Like, what is he pushing out? You don't want to listen to a Kendrick album and it sounds just like fucking A Pimp to a Butterfly. Even though A Pimp to a Butterfly was great, but you don't want to listen to his next album that sounds like A Pimp to a Butterfly. You want to hear what else? You want to hear growth and evolution. A lot of these niggas, like, shout out to the baby. He'll put out the same shit. It works though. It works because people fuck with it, and I ain't gonna lie. It's like this shit rock. But I don't want to listen to this shit all the time. Like, I can't listen to that shit all the time. Like, all right, man. I got you. I got you. But it's just, and I think that's like, I think it's probably because he got big though. Because I'm pretty sure, like, when he was first coming up, until before he developed his style, and he was really trying to figure out what he was doing, it was some shit that he was like trying to do different, and he was just like really putting it out. He like really like, he probably likes his old shit, saying like, oh yeah, I like this because I was doing something different on it. But nowadays, it's like you're not making money off that shit. And he's at a stage. I don't know how long he's been doing this shit for, but I can only imagine he's probably at a stage where I've been doing this shit for that long, and the shit that I was doing wasn't working, but the shit that I'm doing now is working. Why would I stray away? Why don't I just try to make as much money as I can? And that's where, that's where it fucks things up at. When you got to ask yourself that question, because it's like that though. Because like when you've been sitting there trying to when you trying to make it as an artist, and you're putting your heart into all this shit, but it's just not hitting. But if you do something like, let's say you jump on this wave, and now it's fucking hitting, what do you keep going? But now people are looking for you. Like, they don't, like, some people that used to fuck with you because the shit that you was doing, they fuck with you, but you got fucking millions of people want to hear the wave. Like, what do you do? Do you keep going, or do you just like say, you know what, I'm I'm gonna stick to what I've been trying to do, and that's where the question comes in. That I think I don't know what kind of ride do you want, or what kind of ride is necessary, but I feel like the people who have the slow rides usually last longer. I think they last longer. Like if J Cole would have blew up real big, like immediately after fucking what you call it, after his first mixtape, he probably wouldn't even be J Cole now. Well, he probably would, cause J Cole was fucking talented. It's like, but I think it took a while for him to gain the success. Also with Kendrick Lamar, and even with Drake, you know, Drake started. Drake really had to grind to get to where he was at. Drake's mixtape game. He was trying to do some shit, and he really had to grind to get to where he's at now. That's why when where he's at right now, it's real crazy to see. And then how he can sit there and continuously drop hits that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to see. It really is beautiful to like just see how he continuously is able to drop hits. It's something that you just like. I enjoy watching Drake being able to sustain his type of success. It's like when I see that shit, I'm like, all right, there we go, big dog. But I think when people see that, like he make it look easy. And I see why he has writers, which I don't know if he does, but I don't know if he has writers now, but it's been proven that he does, because that's the fear of failure. Because, like, imagine if Drake was doing all this shit by himself. See, that's the thing what fucked up everybody. Where everybody thought he was doing this shit by himself and he wasn't. And, that's why people are so, whenever they get into it with Drake, they always bring up, ghostwriting. Every single time. Because everybody thought he was doing this shit himself. And it's not like how he was like Kanye West, where Kanye West was like, nah, nigga, I got help. I have help right there. Nah, everybody thought Drake was doing this shit. And Drake was talking mad shit, like like what was that one he says, every verse, I get these niggas the look, I get these niggas the hook. That's why every song like me featuring me, I'm like, yo, this nigga talking shit. And then kind of found out you got help. It kind of like fucked up everybody for a little bit, but we don't know, we'll never be able to fully find out what he had help with. Now we can only just believe what he says. And I think the kind of guy that Drake is, and the kind of success that he has, I don't know if I don't know if it's destined for him to fall off. If he had help, if he don't have help, he might fall off. And I don't think he'd probably be able to deal with that. That's why he probably got help. But then again, you need help in life. You can't do anything by yourself. It's always some help down the line. Like it's always some help down the line. That's why I can't really, knock Drake. But I don't know what Drake's place is in fucking, like, true music. I know he makes great music, but I really don't know what his place is. But fucking, it's a beautiful thing, though. I think music now is not good. R&B, I'm a big fan of R&B. I'm a real big fan of R&B. And I like I try to look for the underground scene, because like current R&B, like nowadays, it's not bad, but I don't know if this is gonna last that long. Like I'm trying to think like what is gonna last. Like what is gonna last? Like after I watched that Babyface and Teddy Riley fucking shit, it made me realize like that music lasts. Like you can still play what Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk, and you still can sing that shit. Like it's just because it lasts. But I don't know if the current stage of R&B is gonna last. I don't know if it's probably because it's oversaturated, or it's just like everything's fucking trendy, and that's where you get to thinking like shit, like it's weird. It's weird. Like music is at a weird state, because it's not like it's not bad, but it's not spectacular. Shout out to Pretty Ricky. It's just like fucking. It's good, but it's not spectacular. Like I think like back then, like you were just listening to spectacular records, like Tony Braxton's I Get So High. You like, okay, that's just fucking spectacular. Fucking, when you hear any of R. Kelly's hits, you're like, that shit's spectacular. Like, I don't give a fuck how much shit R. Kelly has done. If you go to a quinceañera and you play "Step in the Name of Love," they're all gonna be dancing to "Step in the Name of Love" because that's R. Kelly, and it's a spectacular song, no matter what. Like, it's a spectacular song, which you probably shouldn't play at a quinceañera. Probably go for older group, but I bet you they'll fuck with it. They're not finna not fuck with it. You're gonna see a bunch of niggas in cowboy boots and tight jeans dancing to this fucking "Step in the Name of Love" because that's R. Kelly. I don't think people appreciate that kind of shit enough. Like, you seen all these versus battles. I don't think niggas don't want smoke with R. Kelly. Like not. It's like not too many niggas is really coming to R. Kelly, but unfortunately, R. Kelly is in a real versus battle against the state of Chicago, or wherever he's locked up at. He's really fighting for his life there. That's a tough time. And but this is like, I'm glad I'm doing this. I don't know who's gonna listen to it. Actually, I don't care who's listening to it. As long as it's out there. As long as I'm doing something to step out of my box that I'm in, and this may be very exposing to me. This is vulnerable. This is very vulnerable for me to just up there talking for like an hour and shit like that, and it's not on stage. This is a vulnerable thing. I gotta figure out. And I know like here gonna be multiple things of like, yo, does this podcast have any structure? No. Well, I don't know. We're gonna figure this out. I mean, what's so funny about this COVID shit is watching all these sports shows just crumble. They have shit. They don't have anything to talk about, and I'm surprised that these bitches are still running. Like, I if I was them, I'd just start running reruns. Cause like fucking this shit is like they don't have anything to talk about. Like, it's like they just be up there just freestyling like, oh my god, LeBron farted. How do you feel about that? Well, the reason why LeBron farted because it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's like I didn't know how much sports was just involved in my everyday just watching. I never paid attention to how much I just really looked at sports and just seen what was next on sports. Cause like, I mean, it's just something like I just never really like hooked onto sports until now. You can't watch anything, you can't do anything. It's like, okay, now what the fuck? Like, now I got to figure out what I like, what I want to watch, and what I want to do because I can't watch the playoffs. I can't watch none of that shit. Even though I was really looking forward to seeing the Lakers do something, see what they was gonna do. Even though I'm not like really a LeBron James fan, but I love LeBron James, but I'm not. I like LeBron James as a person. I think his game is really beastly, but I hate the pedestal that they put him on. And it just makes me so mad that the pedestal that all these motherfuckers put him on. Like, I get into, oh my god, what made me start hating LeBron was when Kobe was going to fuck off, killing the league, and he was like he was getting an MVP and shit, and they was like, well, LeBron James is LeBron James is better than Kobe. Like, how can you say that when LeBron James can't fuck with Kobe? Like, never. He can't fuck with Kobe. Not a lot of niggas can fuck with Kobe. Kobe was just like, when I was just watch Kobe, I was just like, oh my god, I've never seen no shit like that before. When I watch LeBron James, I'm like, okay, damn, is he really that strong? Is he really bigger than everybody like that? He has like a Wilt Chamberlain factor. That's why I think he's so great. But because I think LeBron James is like the Wilt Chamberlain of the small forwards. Like, this nigga used to sit there and run like a freight train, knocking motherfuckers out the way and just laying up the balls. Like, it's kind of hard to just defend that shit. And that's what makes him good, And then for him to continuously get better, because I remember when LeBron James' growth from where he was when he first started until now is amazing. It's amazing. You can't not like it. You can't just not like it. It's just that's the beauty of it. But I'm still really not like a LeBron James fan, even though he played for my Lakers. I was actually mad when we signed LeBron James. Honestly, I wanted to sign Kawhi. I'd be cool with Kawhi, cause fucking I think that motherfucker there's a fucking. I like how he's really not for them games, and he just take care of business. Like all the shit he be doing, it looks very robotic, but it just works. Like whenever the nigga be dribbling, everything he does it just works, and that's fucking. When I watch shit like that, I be like, okay, yeah. Cause I watched when he won that chip with the Raptors, I was like. I watched every single playoff game that and I was just sitting there watching like, oh shit, this nigga not playing. And it was like he had like little moments of like, oh damn, like here, just go the fuck off. And I was like, okay, they gonna win this one. I saw it when I'm like, okay, after the first game, I said, I think they gonna win this. I think people are fucking sleeping on this team, and then they end up winning. I was like, wow, no one was gonna believe me that I called it, right? Because who doesn't call it? Everybody calls this shit. You know, but this is like the first episode. I wonder how this shit sounds. I wonder how this shit's gonna sound. I like the weird part about this shit is like seeing people's responses, which may not be many or may not be any, but it's just gonna be it's gonna be a new thing for me. You know, I don't like looking at people's comments and shit and seeing if people gonna say some shit because I deserve it. Like whatever somebody says. I probably deserve it. I've done a lot of fucked up shit that I deserve this shit. You know, what could I talk about next? You know what fucking made me mad? Was fucking whenever fucking Kobe had died. It made me so mad that fucking people was like sitting there talking about it's the Illuminati, and I was like, oh, and it was like one of my somebody that I fucked with. He was like, think about this. This is conspiracy theories. I'm like, that's not. There's no conspiracy theories about fucking a plane crashing. I don't see no conspiracy about that. And like, why is it always something? Can't people really just put in work to get to what they need? Like how come Jay is part of Illuminati and fucking like I don't understand that shit. Like how so Jay-Z just didn't do anything. He didn't make millions of records, put his time in rapping and shit just to get it. But no, he's an Illuminati. Him and his wife. That's why like I never understand. Like I don't know, cause like what if I make it, right? And I get big and I'm like the biggest motherfucker ever. And they say, oh, he's part of Illuminati. Which is fucking impossible. Just because I made it? I'm part of Illuminati now because I made it? Or I made money, so now I'm part of Illuminati? That's fucking... That's so discrediting. Like, what about all the work that you put in? That doesn't count? None of that shit counts? Everything that all the time that you put in, all the fucking... sleepless nights of you trying to perfect your craft, trying to become better than what you were yesterday. That don't count. I'm just part of Illuminati now. That's how you just discredit everything that I worked for. I'm just part of Illuminati because I got money. That's shitty. That's shitty. It's like shitty shit to just hear. That's like I don't even know how fucking Jay-Z or Beyonce deals with this shit. And I mean, fucking, I know how they deal with it. They probably like go to like some foreign country that I've never been, and just eat the finest of the foods, and just do rich nigga shit because they are some rich niggas. Probably part of the Illuminati, I guess, right? That's what everybody's saying. Back to comedy. I think when I watch comedians now, it's so many. I didn't know it was just. I didn't know like before I got in it. I didn't know it was just this many comedians. All I thought it was just comedians that you see on TV. That's what I thought how many comedians was. It was just comedians that I see on TV. If you're not on TV, then you're not a comedian, right? But I didn't know it was just this many, and I didn't know it was just such a grind for it. It's a grind. It's like it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird thing. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap this up. I think this is gonna be, probably like a 30-minute episode, and let's see how this sounds. I don't know how I'm gonna release this shit, but I'm gonna release it, and it was good, listening to. It was good talking to y'all, and I'm out, and hopefully we'll continue. Oh, by the way, this podcast is called Until I'm Famous. Which, when I get famous, I'm not gonna stop the podcast. I'm gonna keep the podcast, but the podcast is starting from somewhere. I'm not famous yet, but until I'm famous, I got a podcast going on. So that's gonna be the goal, to continuously putting out until I'm famous. If there's a podcast name like Until I'm Famous, I'm gonna be very mad, because when I thought about it, I'm like, yo, that shit hit. I just said, you know what, Until I'm Famous. But you never know how this gonna go. But I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys, and you guys have a good one. See you next week.